Hey everyone, it's Jill the Wandering Stamper. I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. Today we're going to have some fun creating an accordion card that is different than probably most accordion cards you've made in the past. We are going to combine the everyday arches, dies, and stamps with the beautiful butterflies dies. So this is going to be a really cool twist. It actually kind of was a happy accident. I was creating a graduation card for my niece, which I'll show you as one of the samples, and decided, you know what, this is really cool looking. Let's see what we can do with it. And I made 3 totally different cards using different products and the same arch dies. So these dies are super cool, and I wanted to share how you can use those in different ways to make fun-filled cards. So let me take a moment to turn the camera down and we'll get started. I'm so glad you joined me today. Here are the products we're going to be working with today. And here is the card we are creating. I wanted to show you so it makes sense. So there's a quick peek at it. We are going to use the beautiful butterflies, just the dies today. This suite of products is beautiful. I think I purchased it as a bundle. Maybe I purchased it as a suite. Who knows? I just got it in the mail. But these stamps are gorgeous. Look at these butterflies. There's different elements to fill it in. And of course, there are some absolutely gorgeous dies that go with it. Where are they? And let me show you. It's also part of a hybrid embossing folder. So when you purchase the bundle of products or the suite, the bundle will give you a little savings. The suite gives you all of the products together. But the beautiful butterflies stamp set also comes with a hybrid embossing folder. So it's an embossing folder to emboss your paper, but also you can put the big die in the middle and it will all emboss and cut out the butterfly in the middle. So I love these hybrid embossing folders. And then of course here are the dies, all kinds of elements for your butterflies. And then of course some tags for the sayings. So I love when they include the tags with the sayings, because that just makes card creation even easier, because you don't have to go and find a tag to fit your greeting or your sentiment. So that's 2 of the products that we're using. And then the everyday arches. Oh my gosh. This was probably one of my favorite celebration offerings. This is in the mini catalog. I shouldn't say celebration, it's celebration time. But this is one of my favorite mini catalog options. This everyday arches you can use for so many things. Love these arches. You can create so many things. Look, chop off the bottom, you've got rainbows. You've got doors, you've got garden gates, you've got tags, you've got elements that you can layer onto a card front to create all kinds of things. You've got a band-aid, put 2 of those. There's just so many things you can do with these dies. And of course, the sayings are fabulous. So this is what I decided to pair up today. All right. And then the final product, we're going to be using Night of Navy and Pretty in Pink. I just felt like it went with the paper so well that I picked out. And let me show you the paper. This is a free product during celebration. It's called Bloom Impressions, and it is free with a $60 order. And look at this paper. It's so pretty. It's just very springtime, very bright. The back has some great layers for all year round. I mean, this is great for all year round. You've got some different kind of backgrounds, and then you've got floral. So love this paper. This is my 2nd or 3rd pack I've gone through of it. I love it so much. And then of course in the mini catalog, I think I tagged it, you can see the suite collection for the beautiful butterflies. And don't forget, these mini catalogs are also idea books. The designer series paper, we're not using it today, but this designer series paper, itty bitty, or what is the paper called? Beautiful Bouquet. Really, really pretty. And there's also some itty bitty bouquet mix little sequins. This would be a really pretty shaker card. But the products that were put together with this are just absolutely beautiful. And it carries over to the next page. I mean, there's just so many things you can do. So make sure you look at that mini catalog, because it's also an idea book. and it has so many great things, and it's only available until April or while supplies last. So if you love any of these products, grab them up before they're gone. And as you know, Celebration ends at the end of February, so if you want that free paper, you got to get your orders in soon before it's over. All right, enough with the salesy stuff. Let's get started on this card. So the card base is Knight of Navy, and you're going to cut 2 pieces. This is very sort of a little bit similar to the last video I did. We're going to be cutting 2 pieces and gluing them together. So we're going to, I decided 3.5 inches worked, so I'm going to cut a 3.5 by 8.5 strip first, and then I'm going to score it at 4 inches. I did not find any instructions for this card, so I just totally created it on my own, just working out the details, and I think they work pretty good. So you're going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches, and then that gives you a 1/2 inch tab right here, and that's where we're going to put the glue when we add the next layer. So we're going to cut a second piece 3.5 inches, and this time it's only going to be 3.5 by 4. So we're essentially going to have 3 4-inch panels. All right. Now, I did all of my die cutting ahead of time because I don't think you want to watch me die cut pieces. So that was done ahead. So this card will come together pretty quickly. So I am going to lay down some liquid glue here. Now, you could also use Stamp and Seal Plus, whatever is nice and strong. And then I'm just going to add this layer just before the score mark, because you want it to fold nicely. You don't want to cover up that score line. All right, so that looks good. So that's our base. How easy is that, right? So then before you came on, I did some die cutting. So using the very largest of the arch dies, I cut 3 of the arches in Knight of Navy. Okay, and those are going to be the 3 panels of our card. Then I also cut a Pretty in Pink piece, and this is from the second to the largest die. And then I cut a piece of Designer Series paper in the third to the largest dies. So because these are all graduating, they layer perfectly. All right. And then for the front of the card, I cut the same size, third from the largest in basic white, and second to the largest for the back, because that's where we're going to do writing, and we just want a little bit more space for that. So that is how this card is going to lay out. Okay? And then in addition to that, I die cut 2 butterflies, and I die cut them from this same paper that comes from that Blooming Expressions paper. Look how gorgeous this looks. Die cut with all those colors. So we're going to be using that on the front of the card, and then I also cut out the body of the butterfly in Knight of Navy so that all our colors are carried through. So that is our other elements. Super simple. So now all we need to do is some stamping. So for the stamping, I'm going to use my Misty from My Sweet Petunia. I'm not an affiliate, but I love using this. And the reason why I prefer to use this, look at this, I put a little straight spot there because I used a scrap of paper, but I think it'll be fine. Nobody's going to notice it. Well, you will notice it because I just pointed it out, but it'll be fine. All right, so I am going to line this up. I love this as a positioning tool. It just makes everything super easy. I'm going to move these out of the way for a moment so we don't make a mess. So I've got my Misty. This is from a website called My Sweet Petunia. Again, I'm not an affiliate, but I love this because I can position my arches and make sure I get those down right the first time. You totally don't need it. Just take your time and you'll be fine. But it's nice sometimes to, especially if you're making several cards, to use these and make sure you get everything exactly where you want it. So what I like to do is lay this out just so it's curved. And the different sayings fit different size arches. So figure out which arch works the best, and then you'll know what size to cut. So I kind of just lay it all out so I like it. And then I'm just going to pop that down. And we're going to stamp in Night of Navy. It says, "You are simply fantastic," which I thought was really nice for this. So I'm going to ink that up and just give it a good press. And the nice thing about this is if I pick it up and there was an area that didn't stamp well, I can do it again and the paper won't move. So there's that. And then I'm going to take my chamois. I have started using my little Stampin' Chamois instead of my stamp cleaning pad because I found I was constantly spraying it with the mist because it would dry out. And this thing will stay damp for days and days. So I only have to go out and rinse it once in a while, which is fabulous. So if you are like me and just want a quick way to clean your stamps, just get one of these, and I keep it in an old stamp case and it stays nice for a long time. All right, so while we have this out, I'm going to grab the back panel, and since it's out, now most of the time I would just do this part on my own. I'm looking for my happy birthday. Where did I put it? Where did I get happy birthday from? I pulled happy birthday from somewhere. Oh, silly me. So the happy birthday comes from the actual beautiful butterfly stamp. So we're actually using one stamp from each set. Actually, two stamps from this set. So I am going to lay my happy birthday out, and I'm going to stand up so I can make sure it's straight. This is one great thing too, is if you have a thin saying like this, it's very obvious when it's not straight. So using this Misty, and I'm using the sticky mat below, but it's starting to lose its stick, so I might need to change it to a new mat. It holds the paper in place, and then you can very carefully get your wording straight, hopefully. And then put that down. And now we're ready to stamp that. So I'm just going to ink it up with a couple little taps. And voila. Okay, so that looks good. We're going to close this up. I'm going to grab that chamois, wipe off my stamp. This is great too if you are changing colors. You can just wipe that off, change colors really super quick. All right, enough of that. We're done with that. Now, I've decided I'm going to add a couple butterflies to this, so I've grabbed that Pretty in Pink. And I'm going to grab a few of these beautiful little butterflies. And I think we're going to grab a full butterfly. And then there's one that's kind of flying and it's folded in half. I don't know how to explain that. There's probably a butterfly word for that, but I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and stamp one here, and then I'm going to maybe put one up here, and we'll put one over here. Okay, so now we've added some butterflies just to kind of give it some interest. This would also look super pretty to stamp off and make it even fainter, but I like the brightness, so we're going to go with that. So that is it for our stamping. Let me show you how to put it all together now. So let's get our pieces back. So what I like to do is I kind of lay it all out so I know what I'm doing. Here's our middle, here's our back, here's our back here, and here is our front. So now we're just going to start layering these on with our liquid glue or adhesive. So now that the panels are all put together, I'm going to go ahead and put them onto my cardstock. Now what I've found, there's a couple ways you can do it, but what I've found I like the most is putting the edge close, on the first one, close to my score line here. Not on it, but just before it. So I will, knowing that, just put my glue around the edge, just like so, because none of this is going to show. And then I'm going to lay this down just before the edge of the score line. Okay, and then if you want, if it helps, I will like kind of do this and just make sure my card is straight on the bottom. And now this is going to fold like this. So we've got a mountain fold like that. So that's the front of our card. So now I'll go ahead and add this one, and I'm going to add it close to this edge so they stack perfectly on top of each. Whoops, not on here. Perfectly on top of each other. So remember, put your glue, I almost made a mistake. Put your glue on the rectangular base, not the arch, because you're going to end up with glue up here, and you don't want glue up there. So I am just putting it there, and then I just kind of stack the two layers so they're perfectly aligned. Okay, and then this piece is going to fold in, so that's a valley fold. And see, you're not even going to notice that seam. All right, so now for this piece, I like to lay it right on top, and then I'm going to put my glue on my last panel. This card is so simple and it looks so intricate. People are going to think you spent an hour making this card, and it really only takes minutes. Once you do your die cutting, it just takes minutes, and you can do all your die cutting to make several of these at once. So now our panels open like this. So all I like to do is I just take my scissors and then just cut away this little teeny bit of cardstock that shows. You just cut it away. I thought about making the cardstock just a bit shorter, but this is so easy, and you have flexibility by doing it that way. So I cut those two off, and now look, it's all perfect. All right, so now that that's done, all we have to do is decorate. So we've got our butterfly pieces right here. So what I like to do first is I take my bone folder and give your wings a little life by using that bone folder, and just very gently curl the wings towards you. It doesn't take a whole lot. You can curl them as much or as little as you like, but it just gives a little bit of life to your butterfly. You don't want a flat butterfly. You want one that looks like it's flying. So there we go. All right, so that is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and just add some liquid glue to, let me move this up a little so you're seeing what I'm seeing, to his body. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue there. And I'm going to pop that right on, just like so. And I'm going to give that a second to dry. And we're going to do the same thing to the little butterfly. Just putting a little bit of liquid glue right here where his body's going to go. And pop this down. Just like so. We'll give that a second. Okay, so then you just want to decide where you want to put your butterflies. So I'm probably going to put mine just like that. I realize that that covers up the words a little, but you can read it perfectly fine. So we're going to put a little bit of liquid glue right here. And then I'm going to put a couple drops just to hold some of the butterfly wings down. And that's just so it doesn't catch in the envelope too much. So I'm going to position it about right there. You just want to make sure it's going to fit within the card when it's closed up. Okay, and that looks good. All right, and then we have our other little butterfly. So I'm just going to do the same thing and add some liquid glue here. And put that right there. Okay. And let's go ahead and add some bling to it. So I'm going to grab these itty bitty bouquet. Is it bouquet? I don't know. We're going to add some of these. So there are all kinds of little pieces. There's flat pieces, there's pinks, blues, there's all kind of little pieces. So I'm going to grab out a few different elements and let's see what we have. Look at this glob that I've got here. Let's just dump a few in here to work with. Okay, now we've got a lot. So as you can see, there's some big elements and some little elements. So I think for the bigger one, I'm going to grab a glue dot. You could probably use liquid glue just as easily. But I think for this big piece, I'm going to use a glue dot. If I can get it turned around. Here, let's take the glue dot off. Put it right here. And let's put it here. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little dab of glue here and there. And we're going to use some of these other elements here. Look how pretty these are. They're a little bit iridescent, which is super cool. I like this pink. And how about a silver? It's kind of a silvery blue. All right, that added some sparkle. This is going to be great for a shaker card too, and I think these everyday arches would make great shaker card shapes too. So, get that out of the way. Look at that. There is our card. It only took minutes to make, super simple. It sits up on the counter, so pretty, and you've got tons of space to write. So that is our sample. Let me show you another one that I made. This is using the absolutely free celebration paper called Fruit Salad. I am in love with this paper. It's so cute. I really wanted to make this card with the watermelon, but I was out of garden green paper. I've got to order it. I keep running out of paper lately. I need to go through all my paper. So I decided to use the oranges and lemons instead, and they're so nice and bright. So I layered Granny Apple Green, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight paper to pull in that bright citrusy flavor and use some white ribbon. And I just created that tag by snipping the ends of the paper. And then the inside says you're a ray of sunshine. How cute is that? And then this is one of the designer series papers. This is the reverse side of one of the oranges. And it looks, a lot of the paper looks like the inside of the fruit on the opposite side, which I thought was super cool. So that makes a very fun card. And then this last card is the one I made for my niece for her graduation. She just graduated from Florida Atlantic University. And she's a super cool kid. She traveled abroad, did some study abroad in Paris and Copenhagen, and she's worked really hard to do so many different things. I mean, she accomplished a lot of different things besides graduation. So I wanted to make her a special card. So this card uses lots of layers. I use the coordinating Everyday Skies designer series paper that comes with it's coordinated with the Everyday Arches dies and stamps, and it's all skies. Love it. So I popped out the smallest arch with dimensionals to kind of give it some depth and added a red ribbon and some purple embellishments. And then here's the inside. I carried the stars through by stamping them onto, this is just the reverse side of this paper. Look how pretty. So all the colors continue to pull through, and then I added Embrace the Journey and again carried those stars through. But look at this. This was just a whim. I opened it up and grabbed my Pocket Thoughts dies and created a pocket, and I'm going to slip some cash in there for her as a gift. So it's got this cute little hidden pocket inside. So as you can see, these cards this layout is so versatile. these arches make the best cards. So I'm definitely going to be making a lot more of these cards, and I just wanted to share it with you. Super simple, very unique. It fits inside the envelope perfectly, and you can make so many different types of cards using this because it's not necessarily a feminine shape. It's an anything shape. So have some fun with it. Check it out. Don't miss it because it will be gone soon. But I wanted to share it with you. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit the bell so you get notifications every time a video airs. I will have a link. I have a link below to my blog. I will have all of my cutting and scoring and materials I use to make all 3 of these cards on there for you. So please go there and you can recreate these cards as much as you want using those measurements. And I thank you very much for joining me today. It means everything when you watch my video. Please give me a like if you love this one. And I will see you next Wednesday with another great card layout. I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope you get a chance to craft today. See you later.